William Rogers. I was born here in Knoxville, Tennessee, Fountain City.
What school did you go to?
Little Oakland school, just a little two-room school up on the hill. We had two teachers taught. One teacher taught 4 class part, and the other teacher taught the other 4 part. Miss Armstrong and Miss Hunt. They was the 2 teachers. No, I just know it was a little 2-room school. First, second, and third, 4th grade, as far as we went in that one side. And when we got on the other side, whenever 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, that's as high as it went.
Did you go to high school?
I didn't get a chance to go to high school. I had to work.
What did you do after you went to school?
What did I do?
Yeah, what did you do after school?
Yard work, mostly. Got paid 50 cents an hour, trying to keep yards and things up. About all I could do. Didn't get the chance. Because my mom was sickly, and it made it rough. My daddy worked hard. My mother's name was Willie Harris, and my daddy's name was Zach Rogers. That was given names.
Were they from here as well?
North Carolina. I think my daddy came in here when he was a boy, at 11 years old, I think.
What about your mom?
She was born out on Brown Mountain, as far as I know. Do you know where that is? Harris Chapel is what their church that she was at.
Okay.
My daddy worked at Baum's Flower House. He left there and went to the mines and stayed. I didn't know him then before I was born. But then he came back and was working at that little flower house, Baum's greenhouse. That's what he did.
What did your mom do? Did she stay at home?
Raised children.
How many siblings did you have?
It was that lived. It was 3 boys and 3 girls all together. I had a twin sister, and it was about 10 of us all together before the rest of them passed away. One passed away before I was even born, even thought about. So it was a pretty good sized family.
What was it like growing up around this area?
It's pretty rough. You couldn't make no money. Back in the day, we wasn't making nothing. 50 cents an hour? But I had some good people that I worked for. They paid that 50 cents an hour, but that's nowadays, I don't know what the kids, they couldn't make it. Wouldn't even try to make it. But it's rough. What did I do outside of working? I hunted some.
What did you hunt?
Rabbits, deer, frogs, anything you could get to eat.
Did you enjoy doing that?
I enjoyed it, but you couldn't get a chance to do too much of that because you had to work all the time. Yeah. When did I get married? In 58, I think it was 58.
How old were you?
I was 24.
How did you meet your wife?
I was working at this hospital and she was still going to school. And her sister worked at the hospital and I started picking up riders, bringing them back and forth when I met her, just through her, seeing her.
How many kids did you all have?
2 boys.
Can you tell me about what the Oakland community was like?
It was growed up. You couldn't see nothing through here hardly. Trees and pine trees, more pine trees than anything. And they done got it all cleared off now. You can't hardly tell nothing. But it was rough.
Growing up, did you all go to church?
Oh yeah.
Where did you go?
Well, right here. This is where I went to church. Matter of fact, I helped dig the basement and stuff out, trying to add on to it. Yeah, I was a youngster rolling wheelbarrows and stuff and trying to get this building fixed up. But it's really improved tremendously compared to what it was then. Miss Elizabeth Hall, she started a usher board, letting people come in and out, and I was on that. I did that for years, and, until I got. Well, they changed people, It was a good time. We come up here and have church twice a day. It'd be night, and I'd be, let's go home. To walk through the cemetery, we didn't have no car. We never had a car until I got grown and and got a car.
How did everyone get around back then?
Had to walk and catch the bus. That's all we could do. I never remember my granddaddies, neither one of them, but I remember both of my grandmas. Yeah.
Can you tell me anything about them?
My mama was sickly all the time, and my grandmama from lived out on the mountain, she'd come out there about every Saturday or so when she could, and my other grandma who lived up on the hill, she'd come down. But other than that, and she died. One lived up on the hill. She died when she was 62, and I thought that was old back then, but I can see now it wasn't that old. And she was a good cook. Both of them was good cooks. These girls nowadays can't cook nothing. Go out all the time. That's all they want to do. But it's nothing like it used to be. I had to carry papers, all kind of stuff to try to make it. We get 35 cents a week to carry the papers, and we got the dime, and the man got the quarter. So, and it was rough. You had to get out and walk in the snow and all that good stuff. Nowadays, you don't have to do all that. Drive around. And that wasn't no fond memory, but we enjoyed it because we thought we was making money. 10 cents a paper. And then some of the time the people wouldn't pay. I had one man owed me for 3 weeks. I ain't never got my, it would be $1.35 for the 3 weeks. I didn't ever get that. And that was years. And I had to take it out of my 10 cents to pay for the paper. But that's life. We'd come up here to this little school, and the boys would rock us back through the cemetery when we get back home. Then the guys down there on that end, they would rock them other boys back. We called ourselves having fun. But there was so many of them up here on this end that they'd run us through that cemetery.
Who would do that?
The other kids in this neighborhood up here. See, I lived in Smithwood. I didn't live up here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I
What
lived.
was your neighborhood like?
Pretty good. Wasn't too crowded like it is now. You can't walk out the street, out the door now. There's so many things going on.
Friends that you did stuff with when you were...
Oh yeah. I had one real good friend. He come from Union County, and he was wondering how come I couldn't go to school with him. But they blacks and white didn't get to go to school together. And old man Reed always said, "You better get on with me and go to school, But I'd be up around that corner playing football with them boys. I remember one time the baby balls come out there to play us. I couldn't play. They said, and the baby balls beat them by one touchdown. And they said, if you got a chance to play, it wouldn't beat us because they couldn't catch me. I could fly back in their days, but the Pratts, the Ralph Pratt and all them, they had the store, and pretty good people. I worked for them when I got older, cleaning up the store. And I'd go up and clean that store up, and they'd come back and let me out at night. And Ralph, he's still alive. He's only one of the Pratts that's living, I think, of the boys, and it was quite a few of them. But Ralph, he's a good man.
So you played sports when you were growing up?
I didn't get a chance to play no sports, nothing but on the corner, just on the corner. Yard, what they call street football. That's all we got a chance to do. And we played it until the paper route, till the man come and drop our papers off, and then we had to go carry what little papers we had. But back in the day, nothing like it was when we was coming up. No. And I had some good people I worked for. It's rough, but that's life. Cutting trees, I did some tree work. I used to climb, and when my boys got big enough, they would catch the limbs and stuff. We cut trees, some on the side. No, nothing but singing, and the other groups would come out and sing and stuff like that. We didn't get a chance to go nowhere to do nothing. We didn't have no transportation. Had to walk from Smithwood up here through that cemetery to come to church. But one of them days, Thanksgiving, they'd have Thanksgiving dinner on the ground a lot of places. And Easter, and hide eggs for the kids. The wagon wheel, it was about 2 or 3 houses up the street. It was a wagon wheel. They sold whiskey. That's what they did. And people would come in and buy it and hide whiskey over here on this property.
Really?
Back in the day, yeah.
Did stuff like that happen often?
People kept coming in here to get whiskey, you know that. They'd hide it over. Some of, in case the police come, they'd have runners going back and forth to get honeysuckers that took the place over here. They had the place covered up. So it was something else. Honeysuckers and stuff was growed up. Yeah, weeds. It growed up. And trees, you couldn't see through this place. Yeah, it was rough. But that's the way it goes. No, anything I know on myself, I ain't telling you. Well, I think it was it's still a nice community. It's not as bad as people cross town shooting and killing each other, and that don't make no kind of sense. But that's what they do. I don't know nothing spectacular to tell.